the next picture is the internal. Now, this is going to be a whole other section. I know we've gone a while now, guys, but this is a very interesting ship. Interesting, and then we're going to start talking about the interior of the ship. This is a production still, I believe, of the internal bridge. So, you saw the ship come from camera, and we started in the internal space. What was your first impression of the inside of the ship?
It was cool. I really enjoyed it. I really did. The first glance at the bridge, I thought it looked a nice update from, to update TOS into a more modern texture. There was a lot of physical buttons and things, and not a lot of touch screens. I mean, you see a lot of displays, but there are a lot of physical buttons on the consoles and stuff, which was very cool.
I actually rewatched this scene, and there's actually a panel which is almost identical to the Franklin panel on the bridge and on the con, the same exact dial. So obviously went back to their old sketches, and which I kind of really liked, visual continuity. Yeah, it's cool, but it's so busy and so advanced and so.
It's almost like modern military. I mean, you go on the bridge of any kind of battleship or destroyer, or even the control room of a carrier down below, and it's very much a lot of stations, same kind of layout, and I think that's kind of what they were going for, which I don't mind. I like the realism of that.
Very dark.
Yeah. But yeah, I really don't have a problem with this bridge. I like it. I think it's funky.
I think it's obviously a post NX-01. It's not a pre TOS. This to evolve back into TOS, to simplify it so much, to is a little bit stretching it. But it's very, again, steampunk. It's the colours. It's the line. Yeah, but let's go on to the next picture, which is the actual design, which is seen in one of the books. Now, this gives you a better indication about what it's meant to be. Now, do you think this is a natural progression from the NX-01? Now, obviously, the ship profile is going to be different, and the reasons are different. But the NX-01 obviously has that single captain's chair, those two on the outer side, which have panels behind them, and then the one single con station, and then that's basically it. Whereas TOS has those two front, and then just ring round the station. What do you think about it functionally and comparing to the other two?
I think it's a nice in between step. It does still have the basic layout of the NX, because it's got the big open area at the back. It's got the two doors. It's not the single door like the TOS. But they've taken. Not everybody's facing the interior of the bridge anymore. They've taken those consoles away, made more space, and have everybody facing the outside. And they've given the navigator some help. Helmsman, he gave him a navigator and stuff. So lighten the workload a little.
That's interesting. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, they have just basically just taken Hoshi and Mayweather's Reed Station, just sort of flipped it, simplified it, but at the same time given more panels. Yeah, okay, I can buy that. Although if you look in the original sketches, I mean, huge screens. I mean, way advanced. And also, if you look at the con and ops, there's a little, piece and a very much like flat touchscreen or display that's just like glass. Very advanced.
Well, that's very cool, though. I mean, I'm sure if they could have done it in the 60s, they would have. That's the problem we have, unfortunately, to deal with the tech. So,
I will say, though, that one detail I'm noticing is the bulkheads that are in between each of the stations that sort of come out of the wall.
Yeah. That's
sort of reminiscent of the later Enterprise refit /A configurations, while they have those like pieces coming out sort of in between some of the stations, like the Excelsior has as well. Slight nod.
No, this works for me. I really like this bridge.
Yeah, it's still a bit too advanced. There's a lot of shapes happening. I would love to see this exact configuration, but you take out all the nonsense. You make the chairs we'll make the chairs TOS. You take out those self-lighting. You take out, on the front of the helm and con, you make all that just flat. You really simplify it down to it's just design, and give it an in-between TOS. Like give it the NX-01 paint scheme, but with those bright colours of the L cars and maybe the chairs of TOS. Like I'd love to see a really refined Prime version and see how it works. But it does certainly fit with a bigger ship, because it is definitely a bigger scale, you know.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's not just a big scale, but there's actually room to maneuver. Like you can walk internal, and there is some space. You know, you can there's sort of space in between the chairs. You can have space to talk, and there is space in between all the different other stations. So it's pretty functional design.
Absolutely. Next picture is a lens flare I can't even see.
Yes. Well, I wanted to point out, if you look at the top of the bridge, they're just hanging down things.
Mood
Okay.
lighting, pot lighting.
Yeah. It just seems very strange to me. There's so much going on up there, and there's just things hanging down. It's like, well, I love they have a real ceiling, none of the other ships did, but it's like, why are there just things hanging down? Like, it's not even being lit, let alone they're not lights, and why do you have those lights when you can just have other...
Yeah, I have no explanation for that. I'm sorry.
So, next picture, I wanted just to throw out there, this is a fun shot of James Kirk. Just want to talk about the uniform very, very briefly. This is quite a good picture of the uniform. What do you think?
To be honest, it's very reminiscent of what Beverly was wearing in All Good Things.
That classic Ulster version,
Yeah. And when I first saw them, I didn't really have an issue with them. I mean, they got the striping on the armband, which is nice, the ranking. The only problem I had was that they were using the Delta. I noticed that right away when I first saw the movie. I'm like, why are they using the Delta when it's not the Enterprise? But that's a JJ thing.
Yes.
No, I have no real problem with these uniforms at all.
Yeah, I think it's just a shirt, really. It's just a shirt, black trousers and a belt. Although I do like the communicators at the front. Like, and it is their communicator was pretty good. I do like that.
Their communicator is amazing. I was happy to see that too.
Yeah,
They did it right.
I do wish though one thing they should have done is linking the Enterprise era pockets, like some zips, like just maybe 2 staying, just so like it's still the blue, the jumpsuit sort of, because again, why in second I don't remember what rank Kirk was. I don't remember. No, the captain's wearing blue as well, so blue might be the sort of standard color. They don't have the new skin set. I guess it might be linking to Enterprise, but
it could be the pajama phase. Like this is the motion picture pajama phase before they came out with the good uniforms for a while.
Well, yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Cool. All right, let's go to the next picture.
The windows.
That's very functional and cool. You can have different display information on like 3 different screens. The fact that it's a window bothers me, of course, but it's still cool that it's a window. It doesn't really fit Trek. That's all.
Well, things it does fit Cage.
It's not a window though.
Well,
it's not a window. It's like a sensor thing on the front of the bridge dome.
Okay. No, fair enough. I can more get behind this variant because it's obviously like they're much smaller. They've got that in between, which means the hull integrity is more maintained. They are just displays, which is cool, but I wish you'd seen them, rather than... I mean, it's great when the guy says, polarize a hull so they don't see the sun rays, but I wish they'd, like I've said with Sean Hargraves, if there'd been, hatches that open and close. Like, maybe as soon as, oh no, we have to be destroyed, let's close them, let's so you have both. So I can sort of vaguely get behind this era, maybe wanting a viewer potentially, but you need that blast door. But at least this version is subdivided and, as you can see, ultra functional. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a cool addition, but the window bothers me.
It's certainly more what real life would do, though.
I think so. Yeah. Yep.
Which is cool. But the next picture just is actually the ship. And actually, this is an upside down picture. I upside down for this shot. You can see the actual window on the ship, just exactly how it's got 3 and actually 2 others on either side. So it's actually a 5 window configuration. Just wanted to point that out.
Never noticed that. Cool.
Yeah.
And next picture, we've got the little phaser turrets that pop up.
Well, no, these are the pulse phasers.
Yeah, these are the point defense system, basically,
Yes.
getting rid of the missiles and.
Yes. And I've got the other weapons in a minute. What do you think about this design and having them?
It's very Star Wars. It's very much Star Destroyer kind of weaponry. I
Shoots quicker though.
It does, and it's realistic. It's functional. It's something that likely Federation would have, but it doesn't really work for Starfleet for me, because we've seen the NX-01 where they do kind of come down and they are like big phasers, so it's kind of a natural progression that way. But I don't know. It doesn't say Star Trek to me.
Sure. Yeah, I certainly agree with that, especially since we don't see pulse phasers again until Defiant,
Yes.
But that said, the NX-01 in its launch configuration before, their phase cannons uses pulse phasers, and we know they have phaser cannons. We'll look at those in a few seconds, and so why not have, as a double weaponry, why not have that same technology bumped up to 3 emitters per thing, or 4, and then there are phaser cannons that are turrets that come down, turrets that come up. I mean, it's not the biggest stretch in the world from NX-01 technology, especially if you want to really kit out a gun. Kit out the guns for the ship.
It's interesting too, because if this is a scout class vessel or a destroyer class that's meant to escort a heavy cruiser, they're there to protect the heavy cruisers. So this would make sense. They could take out missiles or anything that was heading towards the heavy cruiser, protect the heavy cruiser while it does its thing. So that kind of negates the whole "this is a colony ship" thing. Because why is it so heavily armored for a colony ship? Unless we're going into the unknown, so
yes.
we need to make sure we have weapons. But still,
we've said that about Discovery though, how many phaser turrets they have. I mean, you also want to be able to survive. I mean, if these things are cheap, to be fair, maybe it makes more sense. Like the phasable turrets are, okay, they don't exist yet, but if they did exist, well, if you're going as a colony ship, why not put in the older pulse turrets that are on cargo ships? Why not just outfit it with 9? Suddenly you've got a second layer of defense. They're cheap, they're relatively effective, and just send it out as a colony ship. Like they're not the state of the art weapons. They're just another gun to put on. It doesn't take much, but suddenly you've got this extra layer of defense.
Yeah.
But the next picture just shows that they're firing both red phasers and blue pulse, which the next picture then shows you the phaser ball turrets, which fire the red phasers, and they are very distinct, spinny, turrety, bally.
These are very interesting because they're very similar to the ones you see on modern day battleships. They're very similar. The whole design of them. Plus, they are a great evolutionary progression up to phaser ball turrets.
Yeah, they're a good pre. They're like it's still an independent weapon.
Yeah,
and it needs to be swiveled and. Yeah.
But they're great. These I really don't have much of a problem with. I mean, the fact that they slide in even, so they kind of.
Well, these don't. These stay up.
They stay up all the time.
Yeah, these ones do. The other ones are the.
I thought these raised up and they were like half showing when they're not being used. That's why.
Maybe half showing. I don't know.
That's why they look like ball turrets. Before ball turrets were a thing.
I don't know. I mean, on this picture, it looks like they stay up. On this render, well, you can see. I think they meant to stay up, but we don't see enough of the movie to know, really, honestly. So.
Yeah.
Well.
It would make more sense for me for them to retract like halfway, so they still look like they're regular ball turrets, but they come up. I don't know. Next picture, we've got a hallway, which is very nice.
Very Star Wars.
Yes.
Very, very Star Wars and very, very Cylon. It looks like the Cylon Corridor from BSG remastered.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's not smooth like the TOS aesthetic.
But it has got those sort of girders like the NX sort of.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, but they've gone from basic shape of a cylinder to like some kind of other thing now. They're working towards the straight hallways, I think.
Okay. They definitely look very like it. If you take the cylinder, like the tube, you kind of can maybe say it's an evolution in the sense that they've just sort of bulked out a bit. You've got more room. You've got now maybe some. The NX-01 was very much plates. Maybe they've gone to more of a there's little bits of technology inside the walls that you could then access very easily. Like it's more, especially if it's a colony ship. Like you don't necessarily need all that paneling. You want the functionality,
It's funny because I don't remember this scene. I don't remember this one little clip.
Well, yeah, there's 2 times you see a corridor when the captain is leaving for the shuttle bay, but it's not as clean. And then this is the shot. It's actually just after the phasable turrets, because this is the lady that gets pulled out after the ship gets blown up. After this corridor gets blown up. So I just saw it in the frame before. And actually, if you in the physical set construction, just to our left is the door to the bridge. They just reversed the camera. But it's interesting to see that you do see the Kelvin Corridor, which is obviously worth pointing out. Like, this is meant to be the evolution between NX and TOS, and actually it's not as bad. It's very, very dark and very very mechanical. Like, it's definitely not Star Trek. It doesn't say Star Trek in any way.
Well, they're on they're at red alert right now. You got the red alert stripe, which automatically when you go to red alert the lights dim. You got the red alerts going on. Again. So,
but does it feel like Star Trek to you in any way? Well, that said, I mean,
yes, does. It's very reminiscent of the refit.
Yeah, I was about to say, because they're angled in that way.
And even Enterprise E from First Contact, it kind of says that to me, especially with the orange turbolifty thing at the end there.
Okay, no, this is why we discuss it, because he can make good points too. But the next photo is the Shuttle Bay. Difficult to get a look at this shape, but this is the internal space, and as you can see, they're launching a lot of shuttles, and it's super workhorse. I believe each of these bays, the B6, 14, these are all where shuttles would be, and then they'd sort of pop out and then fly away.
Yeah, so they're parked this way with a takeoff strip in the middle.
Yes.
Which I have no problem with. That's very cool. This kind of negates the whole double layer, though, because if you look at that exit, I think that's just the rear doors. There's no 2 levels to this.
Well, no. If you look at to the right, there's a little alcove in the front. I mean, there is. I mean, early in the movie, you can see 2 piled up. It is a double level thing.
Yeah, but not like I envisioned it, where it's like 2 separate decks. It's very much like a big open space that has 2 levels inside it. Yeah, I don't know. Again, if that secondary hull is just Shuttle Bay, I can see that having like 24 shuttles.
It's very cabley, though.
Like that. It's very wet.
It's very cabley. I know it's been under attack, so things might be falling out of the ceiling, but it's very cabley. It's not refined at all. It's very. It's like a factory, which we'll go into in a minute. But it's very. Yeah.
Yeah. It's another shot I don't really remember seeing.
Again, this split seconds I brought. Now, I want to ask you one question. So, if you look at the actual doors, what on earth is going on with these doors? Because it's like sort of opened, but the doors look like they do this, and yet they're sort of up. But is there a bit that comes out that's a physical? Wouldn't that be wasted space? I don't understand how this links to the outside of the ship.
It could be like a 3-section door. You get the top section, you got the middle section that splits in the middle and slides around. So you can open just the middle part, and then this part might retract up. I don't know. Or, I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. I mean, if it looks like a clamshell, like TOS from the outside, so you would just assume that it would do the same kind of thing.
And just be open, yeah. Well, and you need to see the walls and the bottom bit, but that bottom bit doesn't look like the bottom bit of the other outside the ship. It's kind of strange. It looks like an aircraft carrier. That's launching from. Doesn't. I mean, you wouldn't say that was Star Trek, would you?
No, absolutely not.
Which is into the next picture, which is the outside of the shuttle bay, because this lady has taken Kirk's wife to the shuttle, which is to the left of us. So this is the outside of the shuttle bay. This is how you get into the shuttles. So there's walkways either side of the shuttle bay as well. So it's obviously not so there is outer space of the shuttle bay, which makes sense. But I mean, that's even more physical space you've got to have this to be, and very odd design just to have open railings and.
Yeah.
Not well designed really for a Starfleet shuttle complex.
Lots of cables and pipes and things everywhere.
I know the NX-01 obviously they also had railings and it was very silver, but it was very condensed, very compact, and also 100 years ago, Some point out this is that we're I worked out which rooms are which, and this is the outside of the shuttle bay.
That's very cool. I love the attention you took to this for this. Cool. Well, let's go on to the next picture. These are the shuttles. So how many did we got there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Minimum 19, plus see over 2 get destroyed, plus the other guy's original shuttle, so it's at least sort of 20, 21 shuttles, at least.
I count 21 because some of them look like they're clumped, they're close together.
Well, 21, 22, so at least sort of 23, 24 shuttles. It's a lot of shuttles.
It is, and it totally took me out of it. Plus, you got to think, this is supposed to be evacuating the whole crew, so how many people on a shuttle? 6, 8, maybe?
It's a pretty big shuttle if you look at it. I mean, you've got 2 pilot seats. You could probably put in 8 minimum to the back if you squeeze them in. Which isn't very many, actually. Okay,
so
let's say
how many died in the attack? We got to kind of figure this out.
I would assume quite a lot. I mean, it was punished, pretty heavily, and lots of people got thrown out.
So there's 20. Let's say there's 24 shuttles, just for the sake of argument. That's 192 people if you can fit 8 people on a shuttle.
Well, yeah, probably can do more. They're probably going to really fit them in, and say maybe 15 if you're really going to pack them in. And there might be more space we didn't see. To be fair, like in the Galileo, there's like a separate room at the back, isn't there? Like a separate.
There's probably different shuttle types as well. I know there's a medical shuttle. But where, and this also raises another question: where the hell are they going to go? Is there a planet nearby? Is there Starfleet anywhere nearby to rescue them? How long are they going to be in these shuttles, like tramped in, smelling each other's BO?
Food? Are there replicators yet?
They're in the middle of nowhere.
Next to a sun, which I'm sure the radiation is a bit strong for the shields of a shuttle.
Pre-TOS shuttle, yeah, probably. Even TOS shuttle.
Anyway, the next picture is the first thing we see of the engineering zone, sort of. Well, this is when the captain gets directly the turbo lift tube from the bridge, gets in it, and he comes down into this zone, which he then walks to the shuttle bay. So we can assume he's going down into the above of the shuttle bay. Maybe he's probably gone down and then along and then up and then down, I guess. But this is the secondary hull. We know that because he walks to the shuttle bay from here. What do you think of our first look at the interior of the Kelvin, the Federation starship in the future?
It is the shittiest designed starship I've ever seen. You get one hull breach, you can't seal off a deck or a section because it's all one big open space.
Yeah. Which carries over to the JJ Prize, of course, as well, because of the open internal.
You can't hull breach. You can't save your ship at all. But the reason for this, of course, we know is because JJ used a factory to film these scenes. Why, I don't know. To save money,
budget.
I guess.
Yeah, it's all about budget.
But I think the interior of your spacecraft is a very important set, perhaps. Build an engine room instead of using a brewery.
But they wanted the people to realize it was engine mechanical facility.
All you need is a pulsing warp core. That's it. Simple. So
the next picture is when he comes down in the turbo lift. As I just said, the turbo lift looks fine, and straight away next to the turbo lift you've got
big cranky wheelie things.
Yeah, you've got pipes, you've got gauges, you've got bolts, you've got needs to be painted red. It's already looking like crap. Next to the turbo lift you've got these black skid marks on it. I mean, this is a Federation starship.
Well, it speaks that the ship is pretty old.
That speaks that it's a stupid thing to do.
It does. But this apparently is not a state-of-the-art ship. This has been around for a while.
I mean, the NX-01 didn't have that. They had beep, beep, beep. Here's a big glowing, thing. Beep, put it in. Not this. And then TOS is just like, here is glowing lights flashing. We don't mean anything. Here's a big ball outside a lithium crystal, and here we've got this is the future of NX-01, guys. They go back to having steel girders. You can see steel girders attached to a floor which looks like
concrete.
It annoys us so much. This is what ruined this is the first part you're thinking, damn.
Yes, and there's more of these pictures to come. Like the next one, we got a futuristic control panel next to turny wheelie thing.
This is important because this is actually the engine room.
Of course it is.
Because he communicates. The captain communicates down to. This is before the other scene, down to ask for a damage report. So obviously he's going to talk to the engineer in the engineering section, which is not the same, we believe, as this section. So this is what potentially could be there. And again, you've got pipes, you've got girders, you've got a single panel next to the warp core, which is going to be pipes and
right in the foreground, in the upper right hand corner, you see like a regular garden hose tap turny thing.
But a panel with an LCARS, so
it's future.
It's the future. I just want to point this to the engineering section. Yep.
Next picture, we got a long corridor.
This is him walking on the way to the shuttle base. This is in the secondary hull.
This I really don't have much of a problem with. It still looks factory-ish, but it's all right. It could be a Starfleet ship. Sure. Moving along.
Next picture, and this is again engineering secondary hull. These are split-second cuts of the explosiony bits when they get hit. Mm-hmm. And again, this is the inside of a ship. These big pipes with. I mean, come on. You've got a state-of-the-art. Well, not okay. You're a ship that can fold space. Why do you need to have 19 little, rivets that go into a hole that screw two pipes together? And why is it not internal to the structure of the ship? Why is it external?
So you can service it.
No. The NX-01 didn't do that.
Moving right along is an even better picture. Again, lots of bolts, lots of very modern factory-type building materials.
And this is when they're, trying to escape, and they've got people rope climbing down.
Well, you can when you got the big open space. Why take a turbo lift where you can just jump off the edge of a railing and go down 5 decks?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Looks like the guy on the bottom's wearing jeans. Looks like the person on top 7 of 9 in a silver catsuit. I mean, it's just... And the next picture is a little thing I did just to compare the evolution of technology of engine rooms from 2151, a condensed warp core with panels, with railings, with neat things, and that is everything that is involved in creating the engine. And there's obviously little things either side, and that is it. That is the engine room. You advance 120, 140 years, whatever, and suddenly you become this big, massive thing, and then 30 years later you have a single room. The evolution of technology, people. It's perfect. It's natural. It's just what we wanted.
Yes. Maybe. Yeah, this has got to be an alternate reality. The guy that designed all this stuff died, so they're using like other people designing it, and it's just bigger and bigger and bigger. So they got to make their ships bigger and bigger and bigger because we don't know how to do it. I don't know. Moving along.
This is the last new photo. Just a fun shot from the top, just to show perspective and interesting things and how big the thing is. And
before we move on to that last picture, I just got to say about the interiors.
Yes.
In one frame that I actually saw, you can almost see the brick wall. You can see that it looks slightly brickish. Yes, because of the factory. So, oi. This is a man who gets paid millions of dollars to make movies.
At least they made Vulcan look pretty good. The internals of Vulcan.
Anyway, last picture, a great shot of the Kelvin from the top.
Well, you're right. Let's do a last summary on the interior. I mean, it doesn't work. It doesn't make sense.
No.
It should be retconned. It should be ignored. The bridge is fine.
They need to do a remastered version and actually
build one set. Scenes. Well, build 2 sets, and they can do.
You can figure it.
It's awful, and it's cheap. It's not Star Trek, and it was a waste of everyone's time.
Wow, that's harsh coming from you. You usually stick up for these kind of things, and it's usually me that's the harsh one. But he's absolutely right, guys. He's absolutely right.
The exterior was pretty darn well, especially our scaling discussion from the previous parts.
Girders, pipes, brick walls, concrete floors, and big turny wheels that turn steam off because all these ships in JJ-verse are steam powered, as we know from the Enterprise when we see that too. A lot of big water turbines but
it's worth saying that, in Into Darkness, at least they had an engine room, which was better.
Yes.
And then Beyond, they didn't show it, but at least the ship, you had a great source separation room. You had good-looking corridors internal. It all was sort of an in-between. It was a bit more full techno, but it was still set and it was still real and worked so much better. Beyond did everything, almost everything, at least better, if not right. And I wish that team had done 09. If that had been the jumping-off point, it would have been so good. Even the same story. Like, I could even go for the same story, just doing it their way.
Mm-hmm.
And Simon Pegg write the script. Could have been really cool,
I agree. But let's end on a good note. This is the Kelvin. Yes. A cool ship, but a much discussed ship because there's lots to talk about.
And let's go to the last picture to end on sort of 3/4. Yeah. You guys have asked us multiple times. We've saved it. I did these renders. You spent a long episode, a lot of stuff discussed, a lot of issues we've had, but a lot of positive things. I think the scale part was really useful and informative. I really feel better about it now. Actually, I just wish we'd get a final say from them, the people behind the scenes, what the official is, and we could finally put at least some of the stuff to rest.
The problem is, though, no one knows, I don't think, so...
No. But it's definitely one of the better ships in 09.
Mm-hmm.
Exterior. A lot of cool stuff. I'm glad we saw a 1 nacelle. It makes them canon.
Yes, exactly.
And you got 3 nacelles being canon from the Dreadnought into all good things. So both of those can exist officially. And I am actually running out of breath because we've been talking so much. So Stuart, closing thought on the USS Kelvin NCC 0514.
A great ship to start 2009 with. I didn't know it would create such controversy. I'm sure they didn't know that either. But as we've discussed, there's lots of things that are questionable at best, and this ship will be talked about for a long time to come. But a very cool design nonetheless, and I think it's a welcome addition to the Star Trek universe. So, in all of its iterations and sizes.
Till you go inside. Just stay outside. Just stay outside.
Yes,
and that is it for this. What?
And the bridge. And the bridge. The bridge is cool. Come on now.
Cool. And that is it for this Trekyards mission briefing extravaganza. Hope you guys have enjoyed everything we thought. A lot of the stuff I'm sure you guys have thought about before. We want to get all in our Trekyards platform, and hopefully there'll be more on the ship at some point in the future.
I can't wait for the full episode because so many discrepancies, and I got to research it all.
And I can do renders of it at canon warp. That'd be fun. I'll do it in the. We'll maybe we can talk to Paramount CBS and get the official scale, and I can do scale renders and see if it fits. Anyway, until next time, guys. I am Commander Cockins.
And I'm Captain Foley.
And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.